This is Andy Bennett with Master Tech Solutions. Welcome to our 5th episode of Tech Request Live. Happy Veterans Day. Tech Request Live is a weekly tech request show created to help you, our colleagues and teachers, to maximize the use of your educational technology. My name is Andy Bennett. I work with Master Tech Solutions. We are your one-stop shop for consultation, educational technology, training, and professional development. Master Tech Solutions has proudly provided eInstruction products and services to the Rocky Mountain region for the past 6 years. We are also proud providers for All-In Learning, a revolutionary cloud-based assessment and instruction program. We carry the unbelievable Livescribe Smart Pen, the pen that remembers everything you hear and links it to what you write. In addition, we now carry amazing AV products including Hitachi projectors and Lumen's Ladybug document cameras. But more importantly, we are your partners in education. This is our weekly episode. To see our TRL introduction video, go to www.youtube.com/mastertechsolutions and locate the TRL demo video. This week's tech requests come to us from Durango, Mr. Bonanno at Riverview Elementary, and from the attendees of the NCTM conference in Albuquerque this last week. So let's jump right into them. First one we're going to talk about is putting up a challenge board in CPS. We'll show you how to leverage the use of ExamView to make that really quickly and easily. All right. Okay, so we have CPS open here. To prepare any of our challenge boards, we would go to the Prepare tab and to Team Activities right there. See the ones that I've created beforehand. Keeping in mind anything that we prepare in this tab, we can do this green plus arrow to add those in. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to show you how to add ExamView files. I think I've done this before, but it's important to note here. So I'm going to go to my school file. We'll do 5th grade here and add some reading folders. You don't have to have a file structure here. It just makes things a little bit cleaner if you're going to use it a lot here. So with a folder highlighted as to where you want to put this, we're going to add in, let's do some science. So we're going to add a file here. If we do the little drop down along the side here, it'll only look for ExamView files, which is what we're looking for. The reason I'm starting with this route is that this is a much easier way to start using your challenge board instead of having to create a bunch of questions. So we'll go into our learning series. It dumps us right into the banks. A lot of times we'll go back out to tests right here, but again, we're going to leverage the use of all of those banks. So we'll go into our learning series, banks. Remember, CC stands for Common Core, CO is Colorado, and then NM, the grade is just like a topic line. And if you're in New Mexico, the first 2 letters will just be your state. So we're going to go to Colorado 5th grade science. You can see we've got some different ones here. I'm actually going to add all of these in here. So we're just going to select all of those. And what this is doing is adding the entire bank into my CPS database. What Mr. Bonanno noticed is that these banks do kind of slow things down a little bit because there are so many questions. You can see that I've clicked on it here, but it's still cycling through thinking about all the questions that it's putting in there. So something to keep in mind if you have a slower computer, you may not want to do the entire bank here. It does make things a lot easier when it comes to creating your team activities, but just a word of caution, I suppose, that if you do have a slower computer, this does take a little bit of time to load through that. So just letting you know, there's our life science, and then we'll check out the physical science bank here. All right, so once we have all of our banks in there and loaded, and now that it's thought through there for a little bit, you can see that it's kind of thinking about that a little bit still. There we go. There's all of our physical science questions as well. So now that we have those loaded, we're going to go back to Team Activities under the Prepare tab, and we're going to create a new challenge board. Okay, I'm going to actually title this one 5th grade science. You don't have to put in categories. You could actually just do the colors, the red, the orange, I think it's green. I can't even tell. And yellow maybe. But we're going to do, let's do physical science, life, and I forget what the other one was. Physical, life, and we'll do 2 miscellaneous. Whoops. Having a Rick Perry moment. All right, you can just make those up as you go. All right. Once we say OK, it's going to bring up how we populate this. At any point, if I wanted to go back, I can actually edit those. If I remember, like Mr. Perry did the next day, we can go back and edit that in there. So just a little jab there. Okay, we're going to go back out and find our banks that we just uploaded in the 5th grade science. There they are right there. It was Earth Systems. Here we go. So we're going to go back and edit, and we're going to call this one Earth Science. Here we go. See? No problem. Same kind of thing, because there's so many questions here. When I select this, it does take a little bit of time to load this. There's a number of different ways we can populate this. If I know that the temperature of water, that's an easier question, I can just drag this into a point value that I think it is worth. So that's just a 1 point or a 10-point question. Okay. If this one is a little bit harder, I can drag that one to a 20. You can see how you can kind of populate this one at a time. I prefer to, and actually I'm putting them in the wrong one, so we can clear all those out if we needed to, but you get the idea. So we're in Earth Systems now. What I prefer to do is just drag all of the questions into this upper category here, and it will distribute it for you here. So we're going to push Control A. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to push Shift. I'm pushing Shift and then doing my cursor key down here so we can select all of these questions. So we have 71 questions that we're going to populate into the Earth category here. You can see here we've got an essay and a short answer questions. Maybe we don't want to do those, so we're going to actually go back up a little bit. I'm hitting Shift again and going up. So we're going to do all the multiple choice questions just to kind of simplify it. If you're on a Spark clicker or the infrared clicker, those essay and short answer questions wouldn't come in, and for a game format we may want to keep it a little bit simpler here. So once we've selected the questions we want, we grab that and we're going to drag it, instead of to one singular point value here, we're just going to drag it to that category, and then it will evenly distribute those into the point values here. The nice thing about that is that the next time I come in, because there's always going to be 20 questions, so there's 5 point values in each category, so 20 questions per challenge board. But the next time I start this science, 5th grade science challenge board, because I have 13 questions in here, it's going to give me a different question the next time. Okay, let's go ahead and do our life science questions here. Same thing, we're going to push Shift, do the down arrow key to select all of these, maybe leaving out the short answer and essay questions here. Drag that to life. Here we go, drag that. Okay, so we've got 9 questions in each one of those, and then physical. Again, I had accidentally put in the Earth questions in here. If you ever need to edit or see which ones you have, you just click on it. It'll show you which questions you have in there, and you can delete all of them or one at a time. So we'll go in here and delete those off so they're all in the right category here. All right. Okay, so here's our physical science bank. I'm going to select all the multiple choice questions we have. 116. That'll take us a while to get through. Drag that to the top here and release that. There we go. We got a lot of different ones on that. For this last one, I just left it as challenge because the science banks only had the 3 different standards on that. What you could do is just simply select a few from each one of those to populate that, and just kind of give them a random. They never know which one they're going to get. So totally up to you as to how you'd like to do that. We'll just kind of spread that out a little bit. All right. There's no save button. That's kind of a question that we get a lot. There's no save. I can close it. Any changes have been saved already, and then edit this if I wanted to change the categories here. So we're just going to close out of this. And there's our 5th grade science challenge board ready to go. Just so you can see how that looks, we're going to go over to Engage. I've already got my CPS Pulse receiver connected here. So I'm going to select the challenge board that I want, click Engage. You've got some options here. There's your class. If you want to switch the category, you can do that here, or the session title. We're just going to leave that as is. Click Start. And here is our science challenge board that we just created. So once we select a question, it will bring that up, and then all students, this is important to note, all students get to ring in. So we're just going to randomly ring in here. I'm not paying close attention to what the answer is in that question. I guessed wrong. The answer was D, and I had a ABC. So we're going to close out of that one. Okay. Once we're done with that question, you could start it again if you wanted to, but we're just going to close out of that. You can see the updated score here, but we didn't get any of that right. So there's no score yet. The other thing that I like to do is hit the student button up here. Obviously, I just have the 3 because this is a small class, but if this was a normal 20 kiddo class, if I hit the student button here, it'll give me a random student. So that would say Billy or Susie or whatever. I can change the options here to go through everybody before we loop back in here. Maybe student 2's gone. I hit the button again. It'll give me another random student. So we say student 1, what category would you like? And they say physical for 50. So we select physical for 50. Little large here so you can zoom out to make sure everybody can see the entire question there. Okay. So student 1 selected that they wanted to do what was that life category for 50 points here, but everyone still gets to ring in here. So we're going to ring in real quick. Hopefully I have one kid that guesses it right this time. One of us got it. Okay. You can turn this off if you don't want to see that. It's totally up to you. There's your settings button right there. Close out of that, and then now we see the updated score. So go through all those 50 questions. This is a great way to do review, just kind of a time filler towards the end of the day. Maybe they're a little antsy. This is a lot of fun to do that way. So that is CPS Challenge Board. The other thing that we were going to show today from all of our friends in New Mexico and Arizona and all over the place from the regional conference from NCTM is some of the reporting that we have available through All In Learning. So I'm going to jump over here to the Plus software, All In Learning's Plus software. That's actually what you purchase when you get an All In Learning school license here. You can see all of the footprints. So those of you that are new to All In Learning, just some of the verbiage here. A blueprint is a lesson. Sometimes there's assessments in that. Sometimes it's just a kind of a blueprint of how I want my lesson to go. A footprint is all of the information, the data from my assessments after I've activated a blueprint. PLC is just that. It's information that if I'm in my 5th grade cohort, I can see all of that information side by side. We'll see that here in just a second. And then administration, I'm actually logged in as a principal right now. There are some different options for that. So each level, the teacher, the administration, and then like central administration will have a little bit different functionality there. Okay, so for just the simple glance at this, again, I'm logged in as an administrator, but you just take these other 2 off, and that's what you would see if you were a teacher here. So I can see on this tax test prep, this is how we've done across the district. There's our blue one, there's campus score, and then each of my teachers. So this is actually what a PLC would look like if that was my 5th grade cohort here, okay? So that's the lesson profile, just very simple. I can also go to a standards analysis. A lot of schools are going to standards-based education, right? That's kind of a mandate anymore. The thing that is nice about this, other than the just quick glance to see how each one of my standards are doing here, okay? The other really nice thing is frequency. Having taught in a standards-based program, you have to have more than 1 or 2 data points for that to be a valid score. So it will keep track of that right here for you, so we can see, you know, as a class we scored 96%, but really that is not truly indicative as to how we're doing because that was only 1 data point. So that's kind of a nice thing to track on that. And then student analysis. So in all of the classes here, everything is clickable. So I can, with a single click, see how, you know, here's who has it solid. Click it again, and it will sort it from lowest to highest. There are my intensive kiddos, and maybe our RTI kiddos right here. Okay, so that's just a single lesson, 1 at a time. Those are some of our different options that we have there. The other thing I'd like to show is how we can aggregate data. So this is the aggregated data here, but all you have to do on that is to select multiple lessons and then hit aggregate. So whatever you want to see side by side, you just select those, hit aggregate, and it's ready to go. We're going to jump over here to the previous lessons that I've done. Again, I'm logged in as an administrator, so we see Mrs. Garner, Mrs. Jager, and Mrs. Henley. So these are the different tax test preps lessons that we've selected to aggregate here. Again, I click on this and it will sort that for me, so we can see that here Mrs. Garner, it looks like Mrs. Garner has a really rough class. So let's actually click into her to see a little bit more about that. Okay. Click here and see, okay, there are the kiddos that really need help with this first test prep. Maybe that was a certain standard or not. Okay. And actually, on that note, we can go down here to do the same thing by standard. So it will take it out of the single lesson at a time and just say on standard 5.3, how are they doing? On standard 5.4, how are they doing? Click right here. We can see, again, Mrs. Henley's class is struggling with that a little bit. Click on that a little bit and it will drill down to the next level as to which specific students are needing help with that. Okay. All right. So a lot more to it than that, but that is a brief overview of the PLUS software and the reporting, especially the footprints that go into that. So let's wrap it up here. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to our video here. Our next show will be November 18th, next Friday at 11:30. We did a little bit early today because this is the only time in my lifetime that I think I'll ever see 11:11:11 at 11:11. So call me weird, but that's why we did a little bit early. Again, happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all of the veterans for all of your sacrifice and selflessness. We certainly appreciate that. Tell a friend about Tech Request Live. This is still kind of a very small thing, but I would love for this to become an internet sensation. That's how I envision it. So let your friends know. Please let us know if there's any questions we can do to reach us. Just give us a call. 1-800-592-3163 is our 800 number. You can be directed to any of our consultants from there. Or if you have just a general question, you can reach us at info@mastertechsolutionsinc.com. We do have a Facebook, a YouTube, and a Twitter account. Follow us on those, and you can kind of keep up to date as to what's going on. And that's all we have for today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you